All right, so just to discuss more about this is family law trial attorney and co-founder and partner of Kirker Davis LLP, Holly Davis. Holly, thanks so much for taking the time. It was an interesting interview. At times, it was a little painful to listen to. What was your reaction to it today?
It's really interesting because Wendy Williams is such a public figure, and yet we have her guardian claiming that she's legally incapacitated. And while it was a little bit strange at times, I found her to be able to comprehend the English language and to be able to respond in a competent way. And that's a lot different than the court finding that she is mentally disabled. So I think we've got a little bit of a disconnect between what the guardian's saying and the strict restrictions that she has on her living situation. And then we hear her today on The View speaking fairly competently with the hosts.
Sounding like Wendy Williams. She was diagnosed with dementia back in 2023, and on Monday, after a wellness check made the news, she was taken to the hospital where she passed a cognitive test. I'm wondering what you think about that cognitive test. Does it help her defense?
It absolutely does. And remember, this is just a general cognitive evaluation that's really, getting at basics. What's your birthday? Who's the president? Do you know where you are? Her guardian has requested from the court that she undergo further evaluation, like a psychological evaluation and a mental health evaluation. And that's going to be what we're really looking for to find out whether or not the terms of her guardianship need to be updated. But really, the fact that you're restricting someone's freedom to move, see people, talk to people, do what you want, that's a really big deal. And so if you've got a person who's maybe outgrown those limitations, it's time for the guardianship to really be updated. And that's exactly what the court's doing, but it's at a slower pace than what Wendy wants. And as we know, Wendy's very vocal about what her preferences are. So we're all hearing it in real time, the problems that she has, that this process is moving a lot slower than she wants.
Accompanying her during the View interview today was her advocate, the president of the Connect Care Advisory Group. They explained why Williams was placed in a guardianship. Let's listen.
So the guardianship was triggered by Wells Fargo. There was some unusual activity going on in Wendy's bank account. Wells Fargo froze the account and initiated a guardianship.
Okay, and that's where the guardianship happened. And I didn't mind it at that time at all because it's about my money and keeping my money safe. You understand what I'm saying? But at this point in my life, I want to terminate guardianship and move on with my life, if that's possible at all.
How common is it that a person diagnosed with dementia is ordered to be placed under a guardianship? Why couldn't she be put under the care of a family member, in this case, like her niece, maybe?
That's a great question. That's the question that the public has and the court needs to answer. Really what's going on though is that the court's walking a fine line between appointing a family member as her guardian when in the first place this guardianship was initiated because Wendy appeared to be the victim of financial fraud at the hands of her family member. So really appointing a third party after someone might have been taken advantage of financially is a good idea. We're finding that this dementia diagnosis looks to be outdated. So not a lot of people with dementia get guardianships. And so that's why this case is very unique. And then not a lot of guardianships are as highly publicized as this, and not a lot of people who are under guardianships are, talk show hosts. So what we're finding is that, again, the terms of the guardianship appear to be outdated. And I agree, it's my opinion that a really scaled down version of conservatorship is warranted here, where Wendy and her guardian can be in communication about what she's able to do. And I think she needs to have a little bit more freedom than what she appears to have right now. If you think about it really, Phil, how many celebrities do we see every day that are saying bizarre things to the media, who are struggling with addiction, who might not be very coherent in their interviews? And we aren't placing them under guardianships and restricting their movement. So I think that's really what the public is noticing right now and asking the right questions. And that's why this needs to be taken a closer look at. And the terms of her guardianship, I believe, need to be relaxed.
Yeah, it's a really good point. The last time we covered something this closely of a celebrity was Britney Spears in a similar situation. Holly Davis, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.